Today we're going to jump into some FARA applications. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain that in a second. But first, in an attempt to beat the algorithm, I gotta do some promotion. And I have to try to do it without laughing, so let me try to get through this. Israel is a great nation. Israel is good. Israel is wonderful. Israel is better than. Israel is such a great place. Israel, land of the great, the many, the better than. Israel, amazing, oh she is. Israel, such a fine place she is to go. She's better than you, that's for sure. You're just a peon when it comes to Israel. Israel is amazing. Oh, great she is. Amazing. Amazing she is. Israel is a fine place to go, a fine place to visit. Alright, now that we got past that, we can get into the video seriously. So if you don't know what a FARA application is, or how to pull one up, all you have to do is search FARA. What FARA is, it's the Foreign Agents Registration Act. It's a United States law enacted in 1938 that requires individuals or entities acting as agents for foreign principals such as foreign governments, political parties, or organizations to register with the Department of Justice and disclose their activities, relationships, and financial transactions. FARA does not prohibit lobbying or advocacy on behalf of foreign interests, but mandates public disclosure to promote transparency regarding foreign influence on American public opinion, policy, and laws. So there's a website at the Department of Justice called the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA. If you just search it, when you get to this home page, what you'll want to do is come down here and click on search filings. Now I already have the two pulled up that we're going to look at, but say you wanted to find one, you select search by field, come down over here, make sure all in this box is checked, so select all, and then you type in the number. Today we're going to look at 7649. Clock Tower X LLC submitted that one. 7653 is the LLC, Show Faith by Works. So you would just type in the number, the name, and if you have the date, the date. But if you have the number, say you're looking at 7653, you only have to type that in. All the other stuff is just extra information. I've always been able to pull it up with just the number, the application number. So let's jump into 7649. This is Clock Tower X LLC. It lists the name, the foreign principals, and the nature of the registrant. It says Clock Tower X LLC is engaged in creating strategy and media production, including the development of digital content, messaging campaigns, and related distribution services for political, culture, and commercial initiatives. Clock Tower X LLC is a privately held limited liability company owned and controlled by Bradley Parscale, who serves as its sole managing member. And here it says list every foreign principal from whom the registrant is acting or has agreed to act. The foreign principal there is the State of Israel and Havas Media Network. Lists things like the donors and also other stuff on here, like personal information, addresses of these places, stuff like that. Here it just recaps on the services in the foreign principal, which is Israel and Havas Media Network, and it says registrant shall provide strategic communications, planning, and media services in support of Havas engagement by the State of Israel to develop and execute a national-wide campaign in the United States to combat anti-Semitism. Now remember, anti-Semitism has a different definition today versus decades ago. Anti-Semitism today means anyone criticizing Israel. So if you criticize Israel, you're an anti-Semite today. Still continuing on 7649. Here it lists the address. And here again it talks about the whole goal is propaganda, combating anti-Semitism, basically pushing a pro-Israel stance. So this LLC is going to work on behalf of Havas Media to push a pro-Israel stance. And there's some serious money going into this. $1,500,000 a month. I'm trying to make this video short and simple, so if you're interested, go and do this reading on your own. I'm gonna try to run through this pretty quick, so we're gonna move on to 7653. This is the Show Faith by Works LLC. And on here, the principal is a government of a foreign country. We're talking about Israel here. Keep that in mind. Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The method of performance of the indicated agreement or understanding is Christian outreach through various grassroots and digital targeting of Christians in the western U.S. We will create a mobile museum to display at churches, Christian colleges, and Christian events. We will target and distribute pro-Israel information online and through targeted geofencing and digital online tools. We will have teams of people reaching out to churches and pastors and possibly even Christian social media influencers. Some of this is still undecided and fluid, but these are the outlets we have planned and proposed. So that was Hebrew. I'm going to translate it into English. We will be doing Christian outreach through various psyops, pushing narratives targeting Christians in the U.S. We will create a mobile museum to display at churches, Christian colleges, and Christian events to push those people towards pro-Israel views and to have them view us favorably. We will target and distribute pro-Israel propaganda information through online, through media, through social media, and we'll do one of the largest targeted geofencing in history, targeting these Christians and people. They'll have teams reaching out to churches and pastors to get on the Israeli bus and push a pro-Israeli message. Some of this is still undecided and fluid. We aren't sure exactly how much we're going to pour into this psyop, but we know we're going to pour a lot into it, and we know we're going to do as much as we can. And one of the goals for this organization is encouraging Christians to have a more favorable view of the nation of Israel and to encourage Christians to visit Israel for tourism purposes. So people always ask, why doesn't AIPAC register with FARA? And that's because, as you see on this form, you have to dry snitch on yourself. And they don't want to tell people the shiestiness of what they have planned and what they're up to. This 7653 is very interesting, though, because it lists churches and pastors that they want to go ahead and basically compromise to push pro-Israel messaging. Dollar amounts are listed here of what these things will cost, and it's hundreds of thousands, more likely millions, when you go through all these papers and you read everything. Here some of the budget is listed, and the budget requested is $3,258, or $3,258,961. And additional options, if we could ask for more budget, expanded digital reach to additional states, second mobile 10/7 experience trailer and staffing, additional pastor resources, packages to Utah, additional payoffs to pastors, is what that says in English. Additional pastor resources packages to Wyoming, again payoffs to pastors. Additional pastor resource packages to Texas, and the ideal additional budget is almost another $1,000,000, $835,000. If your church is listed on here, I would advise you to find another church. So here, these are listed on here. The pastors, the church, the activities they will be doing. But what really is interesting and telling is when you start reading these lists, what they plan to do. They're going to have a vehicle to tow that's going to be able to tow. And they're doing these like mobile Holocaust demonstrations and pro-Israel demonstrations. And it lists all the things here that they plan to use in those demonstrations. And we're talking about one of the biggest psyops in history, man. And some of the biggest propaganda. Here's some more of the monies as listed and what they're projecting and expecting to spend and what these things will cost. And I guarantee you it's a lot more than they're listing. I mean, it already says they plan to go over budget. This is what really is scary about this. And they just come out in the open and say it. So one of their things they want to do is targeted geofencing. If you don't know what geofencing is, the easiest way I can explain it is it's basically information gathering. So you go into a certain area, say it's 4 blocks long, they'll get all the data from the phones in that area. They'll interpret the data and then they'll do things like send you ads or send you to pro-Israel sites. So say you went and Googled something to try to find out a story about on Israel. Well, they would send you to a site that spins a narrative that's favorable to them. So you're not getting accurate information. So here it says what they want to do is the largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign ever. I'm going to repeat that. They plan to do the largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign ever. Geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship times. Track attendees and continue to target them with ads. Geofence our own events and other Christian events, continue to target Christians with effective ads and calls to action created in I can't read that other word. Social media, distribute through our own social media channels and to targeted Christians. 4-week web development timeline, creating logos, themes, content, and the website product. The words just seem to get smaller. Security to prevent attacks, consultant content uploads, and web data hosting, on-call maintenance. Redirect nearly all web traffic to friendly sites based on key terms. Ensure that the website is in the top of all search results. Prioritize our information to key demographics. I mean, this stuff is very specific, and they're just dry snitching on themselves. Again, this is some of the monies that they estimate that this is all going to cost. Here they list the mega churches that they're going to push this stuff at. There's 219 in California, 14 in Nevada, 38 in Arizona. Colorado has 32 for a total of 303. The targeted Christian population that they're going to target with all these things is almost 4 million. It's 3,899,925. 60% of them within major population centers like Southern California, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Tucson, Denver. Estimated number of churches and Christians that we think will agree to our programs or attend our events or sign a pledge card, 5% to 10%. I think that number is drastically underestimated. I think it'll be a majority. For decades, churches have been pushing this pro-Israel messaging, and I've actually seen pastors try to make the argument that in the Bible it says that you as a Christian have to support Israel. So the churchgoers estimate, this broke down the number of evangelical non-mega churches is listed as well. Here it talks about the number of Christian colleges and the total estimated campus population, and then the target population. So almost 4 million people is the targeted population that they're trying to target all this stuff with. And here's a list of all these churches. I'm going to go over a couple of them just so you can see how many there is. North Phoenix Baptist Church, Northwest Community Church, Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, Mission Community Church, Spring Life Christian Church, Victor Assembly, Calvary. I could do a whole video on Calvary churches alone. They're very shady, very shysty. A lot of their beginnings started with military roots. A lot of the pastors that worked for the military or the government, and there's some big money backing those churches. Christ Community Church, Cornerstone Christian Fellowship. So if you're paying attention, it's numerous denominations that they're targeting, in just hundreds of churches. Church for All Nations, Colorado Community Church, Aurora. The list just goes on and on and on. So a multi-denominational. You got churches in Texas, you got churches in all different states, Colorado. They're all organized on this list by state. It just goes on and on and on and on. I wanted to make this video quick. Again, we went over 7649 FARA application, which is for the LLC, Clock Tower X, and this is 7653, Show Faith by Works. 7653 is more interesting to me just because of how they mention the doing the largest geofencing in history and the largest targeting of Christians in history to try to push this pro-Israeli message, pro-Israeli propaganda. And a big part of that could be that because for the first time in history, Israel is being viewed as less favorably than more favorably, and they're trying to save face. It just the different denominations on this list just go on and on and on. The different churches, it's crazy, man. And one of their goals listed inside of here was that they want churchgoers to have a pro-Israel view, and they want to have Christians visit Israel for tourism. So these FARA applications, you have to be very specific on them, and you have to inform what your plans are to do with said organization. So again, that's why APEC will not register under FARA, because when people go and they look up these applications, it blows my mind that more people don't do it. But today, folks are lazy. Today, folks don't do research and they don't read anything. If it's not on a screen and it's not talking back to them, they're not going to go read a bunch of words. But this is public information. So for the people that make the claim that Israel doesn't have a massive amount of influence in our nation, and political influence at that, they either are tards and they have no idea about these applications, or they're willfully lying, because you can go and look at this information and see the influence that they're yielding and that they plan to yield, and the money that is behind that influence. I hope this video was informing for y'all. Again, this is FARA application 7649 and 7653. 7653 is a better read to me because it produces so much more information, and like it lists the churches, the geofencing, a bunch of money that they're pouring into this and their plans. When you have some downtime, go and read these for yourself, because there's so much information in there, and share these with other people. People need to be made aware of this stuff that's going on. Hopefully times are changing and we're going to see that influence dwindle, but they don't want to lose their grip on that. It's very apparent from just these two applications. Keep in mind, there could be dozens of different LLCs with applications like this and the same goal, or hundreds. We have no idea. We have to go search them application by application. So this one's been being talked about in a lot of circles recently, just because of the massive geofencing that they plan to do, and it's the biggest targeting of Christians to push pro-Israel propaganda in history. So this one's been being talked about a lot, but there's ones like the 7649 that get little coverage, or in ones that get no coverage.